Hello traveler, and welcome back to yet another review of the replica swords from World of Warcraft, or the Warcraft film. Today I have with me none other than the QUEL'ZARAM High Blade of the Lion. Let's look at it. I will start with a very short introduction here. My name is Lucian and I have a passion for World of Warcraft collectibles. I do this in my spare time and I have a full-time job on the side which allows me to purchase all of these fantastic weapons so I can provide you some quality, hopefully, reviews that you can see these weapons in details. I would really like to bring in some good information for you out there because I did not find a lot of good quality videos or, coverage of these replicas online. So I thought, well, I'll buy these and I'll make some videos for you out there. Hope you like them and you find some value in these. Today we will look at everything about the sword. We're going to look at the lore, we're going to look at the size, weight, and look and feel of the sword. Take a look into it in detail. This is not the first review that I make of this sword, actually. I kind of made a half review because you can buy several versions of this sword. I had two at some point. One of them I sent back to the seller because it actually was super expensive. This one is quite expensive too. But I did kind of like a comparison between the two and how they compare length and kind of details of it. Did some B-roll on those, and today I will go deeper into the lore of it and hopefully the details and the handling of this. Spoiler alert, this is not comfortable at all, but let's see about that later. Okay, so let me take a seat for this because it's actually quite a long review. And in this video, just because I felt so awkward about not knowing the components of a sword, I did actually find all the components of a sword and made a drawing here so I know how to call the different components. QUEL'ZARAM, High Blade of the Lion. It's one of the two known weapons that was handled or wielded by Anduin Lothar. Anduin Lothar, we're going to get into detail about who he was a bit later on, but he discovered this weapon while he was on one of his adventures. He was young and he really liked this weapon. He was there together with Rin and with Medivh. And actually Medivh was impressed by this weapon and he named it the QUEL'ZARAM, which means high blade in Thalassian. And Thalassian was the common tongue or the language of the Blood Elves, the High Elves, and the Void Elves. All three spoke the same language. So Anduin Lothar, King, Knight Champion of the Kingdom of Stormwind. He was Sir Anduin Lothar, and back then, quite interesting story because it brings us back to the War Within, the newest expansion at the time of filming this video. Back then, when we are seeing this sword, he was the last true descendant of the ancient Arathi bloodline. But as we see it here in the War Within, the Arathi bloodline is still alive in Hellowfall under Khaz-Algar. So Therin Lothar, the lady with one eye and one missing arm, who's helping us, who's helping Anduin regain connection to the light, he is a descendant of the Arathi bloodline, still alive with all of those guys, defending the light there and yelling and running around when the shadow and the darkness comes and trying to fight the shadow. But yeah, there are more Arathis. So Anduin Lothar is apparently not the only one. Anduin Lothar was also the supreme commander of the armies of the Alliance of Lordaeron in the Second War. So what was the Second War? It's the war after the First War. No, but seriously, it's 5 years after the First War, and in the First War is when the Orcish horde came in and tried to conquer Azeroth. So when the dark portal opened in the Black Morass with the help of Medivh, that's when the First War happened. you know, the humans and the Alliance had no clue how extremely powerful the orcs were. And just to show you an example of how powerful the orcs were back then, Orgrim Doomhammer was wielding as just a regular everyday weapon one of these. And this is just extremely difficult to handle, extremely heavy. This is 8 kilos, by the way. I have a review of this. You're welcome to join me in the channel and, you know, see the review of this, because I've had a blast making a review of this. And I'll actually grab it once more in the video today, and you'll see why. So that's what happened. The orcs came in during the First War because they got help from Medivh to open the portal in the Black Morass. And if you haven't played through the Caverns of Time quests, the Black Morass is what today is the Blasted Lands and the Swamp of Sorrows. So that entire area was lush scenery with a lot of green and trees and very vivid, filled with life. But Gul'dan came in with his fell magic, with his dark magic, and kind of like destroyed the place, and then they built the dark portal there. And that's how it became devoid of life. Blasted Lands and Swamp of Sorrows. Anduin Lothar. At some point he dies, unfortunately. He dies actually at the base of the Black Rock Mountain, just before the end of this Second War. And the end of the Second War was marked by the closing of the Dark Portal. Thankfully, so the orcs could not come in anymore. And yeah, the way he dies is at the hand of Orgrim Doomhammer, who wields, you already know, the Doomhammer. Unfortunately, this sword, the QUEL'ZARAM, is shattered by the mighty Doomhammer. So it happened like this. And then after shattering the QUEL'ZARAM, Orgrim Doomhammer actually shatters Anduin Lothar's head as well, also with the Doomhammer. And that's the end of the story. That's the end of the lore regarding the QUEL'ZARAM. Maybe there is one more addition to make here with regards to the weapons that Anduin Lothar he wields. The second weapon that he's known of wielding was the great sword, the great royal sword, which is not this one. This is just a royal sword. But I did make a review of this if you want to check it out on the YouTube channel. My favorite sword, by the way. This is amazing. But look at the review if you want to see some more about it. Anduin Lothar, he wielded the great royal sword, which now is actually in the game as Ash Candy, the great sword of the Brotherhood. That's what we kind of, because it wasn't exactly the same, but it does remind us a lot of it. And it also has engraved on the hilt, it has the AL on it, Anduin Lothar, his initials. So this was actually it for the lore for now. Unfortunately he dies, but now in the War Within we know he's not the last Arathi. So there is still hope. There is still hope. Now that we're here, let's get to the next part, which is, of course, watching the sword and having a look at it in detail. Let's go. So I will just take this off my incredibly well-designed tree stump over here and show you some of the sword. So, according to the composition of a sword, according to sword makers, this over here is the pommel at the end, and then we do have the grip over here, where we grip it, and the combination of these is called the hilt. Then we go up towards these parts here, which is called the cross guard, and we also have the rain guard over here, that's called, and we have the, I think this is a dragon. I had a very tough time figuring out what this sort of weird animal it was, but it was a dragon. I'll go into the detail a bit later on. But I found one more interesting piece, which is this one here. Especially for this sword, we have a special part that, you know, doesn't necessarily happen with regular swords. You don't really hold this, but this would be quite cool to hold it like this. But the part over here, which is apparently not sharpened for a normal sword, is called the ricasso. And you apparently use your index finger on it to add some extra strength to your blows. I am not sure how that works. If there are any sword experts in watching this video, please let me know. Please make us all a bit smarter in this universe. Thank you, and we appreciate it. Then we go in, and then this is the edge of the sword, and then we also have the fuller of the weapon, which is this part in the middle here, which is carved. And the reason it's carved is to just remove some extra weight that you do not necessarily need from the sword, so to make it lighter and more usable. At the end here, you would have a line which is called the central ridge of the sword. And then, of course, you have the edge of the sword, which would be sharpened in a normal sword. By the way, none of these weapons that I have over here, none of them are sharpened. The only sharp part is the tip here of the blade. This is actually quite blunt. I think the most deadly weapon that I have, or sword, is the Frostmourne. That's extremely, extremely sharp. Good. So let's look at the details of this sword. The pommel here has quite an interesting design, and the grip is very, very interesting. These are dragon scales. So I'll try and put this in front of my face so it doesn't focus on my face, and then you can see the scales here. They look amazing. I think it's one of the main attractions of the sword, for me anyway. It's extremely beautiful. It's extremely beautiful. I will get to the handling part later on. And then when we discuss the dragon head here, we do have the blue diamonds, 3 of them to be exact, and with some golden accents around them, which are quite nice. The paint, or the quality of the paint, is... It's not legendary, as the sword should be. It's not legendary, but of course this is not a 1,000 euro sword. So we have the diamonds over here that I can clearly see that they're glued onto, to place them somewhere here. I can also see the glue. And we also have some gold accents here. These are just some cross guards over here, which it doesn't look like anything dragon, but they have a special, interesting shape. Let me get it in the light. They have a special, interesting shape. I think clearly the most unique part about the sword is the holder here. Also in the movie, you actually see the actor. I don't remember his name, but he is, you know, the Ragnar Lothbrok from the Vikings full film. This would be held here, so you could add some extra strength to your blow with the swords. Lastly, the details over here, the black details, there is actually, it's not only paint, it's carved in the blade. Not extremely deep, but okay enough so you could feel it when you run your finger across it. This would be it. Oh, of course, I forgot to measure it, so let's measure the blade. From the very tip to the edge of the end of the pommel, it's 108 centimeters. 108 centimeters. The widest point of this sword is 25 centimeters. 25 centimeters at its widest point. And it's actually, when you look at it like this, let me cover my face so you can see this. Here. It's very bulky. Very bulky. You got it here, and then very bulky on the side. This is my bulkiest of the weapons, if we don't consider the Ashbringer, which is just massive. But this is extremely thick here at the rain guard, very thick. The width of the grip here is also one of the widest, not taking into consideration the Doomhammer, which is very, very thick. This is 50 millimeters at with the dragon scales here, at the widest. And on the other axis, we got 35 millimeters. So kind of like normal. Most of these have 35 millimeters on the grip of it. So that would be it for the dimensions of the blade. And then I am pretty sure, I know that this is less than 5 kilos, therefore I'm going to use my food scale here. By the way, always a good idea, if you want to develop enough muscle mass to be able to wield these swords without a problem, remember to get your rice and chicken in and go do some physical activity. With that said, this sword is 3.8 kilograms, 3,800 grams of pure metal. There's just some extra testosterone that gets, released in your body when you start wielding something like this. There's something primal about it that I really appreciate. In this day and age where we're not allowed to be real men because it's seen as toxic, you know what? There's nothing toxic about promoting testosterone in a healthy way. It's actually attractive. Let's go. What are we missing from here? Yeah, we are missing the feel of the sword. How does this feel to wield? This is where it gets a bit sad. It's not sad. It's not sad. It gets unfortunate. That's the best word. It becomes unfortunate because as beautiful as these scales are when the sword is displayed in these fantastic wood supports that I made, as beautiful as this is, the grip, just as tricky and annoying it is to wield. Because you have your hand in here and they just dig into your palm, they dig into your hand. Maybe, in a real case scenario, you would use it with with gloves, but this just digs into your hand. Otherwise, the sword is very comfortable to use. It's not very long. It's 108 centimeters, if I remember right. I just measured it, but I forgot. But it's really nice to wield. Not extremely heavy, because it's not that long. It allows you to kind of wield it in your apartment, although your TV is right on the other side, so you don't run the risk of destroying all your furniture and your technology. But this sword feels nice. Yeah, I think it does feel nice. I think that's it. Let me place it in the fantastic holder again, and then, I have the last question that we always ask. QUEL'ZARAM, High Blade of the Lion. Is this worth it? Should you buy it? As always, you know what I'm going to say. It depends a lot on your preferences, whether you are a fan of the Alliance or the Horde, whether you appreciate the lore of Anduin Lothar. By the way, fun fact, Anduin Lothar, a beautiful name. That's exactly what Varian Wrynn thought, so that's why he named his son after the great Anduin Lothar, and that's why Anduin Wrynn is called Anduin, because Anduin. So would you buy this sword? Let me know in the comments below, and as well, I would like to hear from you whether you like the format of these videos. I would be welcoming some feedback from you in the comments below. Would you make these videos shorter, longer? Do you enjoy the fact that there's some lore about it? What would you add? Are you grabbing your healthy snacks and enjoying this universe together with me? Let me know in the comments below, and let's build a community together. I think this is just an amazing passion to have, and I know we share it together. Whether you are an Alliance aficionado or you've been playing Horde your entire life and you like to smash things, I don't care. We have the same passion. I think we might as well share this. So with that said, my name is Lucian. I hope you enjoyed this video. Throw in some likes and comments, maybe share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.